You're just passing mental gas.
Hmm.
All right, sounds good. I'm just gonna take the sweater off.
All right.
All right, now I'm taking my shirt off.
Whoa.
Just kidding. Grab my.
Timer? That was pretty cool. That was pretty sick. All right, hang on a second. Just give me some time to like mentally go through the whole movie.
All right, you got 3 bips.
Bips. What's a bip?
Give me 3 bips to get the all clear. Otherwise, we'll take you out. Take you behind the barn.
Dad, what are you doing?
Not the fun kind. Not the one with the moo cows. The kind with the shooty shoots.
Dad, stop. What? The moo cows. What's a moo cow? What's the difference between a moo cow and a normal cow?
All right, you ready?
No.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Kid Stays in the Podcast. I'm your host, Trey Cooper, and joining me is...
Schoolman Cooper.
Oh, God. Schoolman Cooper?
Yeah, I told you. It's really bad.
Yep. I think you should stick with your regular name for this one.
No, Dad. You said you missed a really bad joke, so...
I didn't know they were going to get that bad.
They get worse and worse every time.
Anyway, here with Schoolman Cooper, and... for this week's show, we're going to dig a little bit into our cinematic vault. You know, sometimes we get so caught up just reviewing the latest blockbuster, we forget that we're supposed to be having an actual discussion about movies, and that needs to involve some film history.
Does it, though?
I think it definitely does.
I don't feel like our show about a cross-generational discussion about movies needs any discussion.
I know.
What do you mean you know?
You don't like to have any discussions about things.
I feel like you're being very rude.
You know, things that require depth and thought.
That's mean. I have deep thoughts.
I know, but you just don't want to think about them.
I don't like thinking about them. That's why I listen to music all the time.
And play Fortnite for 400 hours a
week. I don't play Fortnite. You need to stop telling everyone that we know that I play Fortnite. It's really embarrassing.
The only reason you don't play Fortnite is because you can't play Fortnite. It's not because like you don't want to play Fortnite 24 hours a day, miss school, miss meals, drop dead, an emaciated corpse with no education, illiterate. That's what you would be if we didn't remove the Fortnite needle from your arm.
Okay. But we really do need to stop telling people that I played Fortnite for a while.
Don't even accidentally start to say we.
Sorry, I meant like we as in me and
we, the collective we, you, yourself.
Yes, exactly. I can't have people knowing.
Anyway, enough about Fortnite. Let's tell people what we're going to be talking about today. So I'm going to break one of my rules again. I've broken it like 3 times, so it's probably not a rule anymore. Or else it's 3 strikes and you're out, and you can do the rest of the podcast yourself.
Cool.
But I'm going to be discussing very briefly the latest George Clooney directed movie, The Tender Bar. Solomon did not watch this movie with me, so it'll be a very short discussion. Of course, you're welcome to chime in on your thoughts of, my musings on the movie, whether you've seen it or not. Quick recap on the Book of Boba Fett, where we are right now. It's episode 4. We're not going to talk about that very much either.
We don't really need to.
Yeah, the less said, the better at this point.
Yeah. Honestly, I just want them to get out. I just don't want them to drown.
I honestly don't know what the show could do besides maybe bring back every Jedi as a Force ghost that would be cool enough to salvage the show. Just have all the Force ghosts in Star Wars fighting the Pikes. Dude,
that'd be pretty sick. I have to admit. And then, but it would not make any sense and it would still not help the show very much.
Well, these would be interesting, though.
That's true.
And then finally, the movie we're going to be discussing today is the 2005 film noir by Rian Johnson, Brick. It was a very, very unique movie when it came out. I was curious as to how it would hold up watching it again today, so we're going to get into that. And yeah. Let's go ahead and start.
Hopefully we can get through all the movies and not, because if you're making these promises, you have to make sure that we get through every single thing that we say we're going to talk about. Okay, Father?
We're just going to briefly talk about 2 shows and 1 movie.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we'll be fine.
I hope
It won't be like you trying to talk about Encanto and not even having 5 minutes of content, which is exactly what I knew would happen.
in content.
Oh, what?
In content. Get it?
Oh, no.
That was hilarious.
That was terrible.
I'm so funny.
I did see that Encanto, though, is like one of the highest, biggest musical soundtracks of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the first one that went a certain amount of time or some.
Yeah.
See the non-information I'm giving people. I heard that the soundtrack did something with the charts and uppity ups. The line kept going that way and not the downy way.
You're really
something.
You're just so smart. And
Lin-Miranda Manuel said it. I don't remember what he said.
All I'm getting
basically
is
the
that
soundtrack is like it's one of the biggest musical soundtracks of all time, which is kind of crazy considering most people haven't seen the movie.
It's not that crazy. The music is
it's
exquisite.
It slaps. It bops. It bips.
I hate you.
It's swings from side to side.
Oh, I want to cry.
That's what the kids say about music. That's how you know if music is good.
I'm walking out the studio.
Which one of the things that I say wrong?
I'm all of them.
Do you say it bips?
I've never said it bip.
No,
I don't even know what it
you
bips
say
mean.
it's a bop. It's a bop.
No, that's what
they're all bops. It's a bunch of bops. Bunch of slapping bops on that soundtrack. Slapping the bops.
What are you saying?
Nobody can see your face because it's a podcast, and so nobody can see the ridiculous face that you're making at me.
Some people say it slaps, but no one says it bops or it slaps the bops or whatever you said.
But people say it is a bop.
But no one says it's a bop. That was so like 1884. Honestly,
I can assure you, in 1884, nobody was saying that the farmer in the Dale was a bop.
Bro, they were. I heard them. I was talking to them personally. Can we get on with the episode now?
Yeah, for sure. So, Book of Boba Fett. Just making bad.
This
bad
is not
puns.
This is not good. We're off to a bad start.
I know. Yeah, this show is just not going anywhere. It is running in place. It is on a treadwheel, a hamster wheel. Treadmill.
Okay.
Treadmill.
It's okay.
It's not a treadmill.
This reminds me of like, you know that one meme where it's like the baby who's like drowning and then like someone like the mom's holding another baby and then there's like the skeleton at the bottom of the pool.
No.
Well, that people do. That's what this reminds me of, except for Boba Fett's the skeleton at the bottom of the pool, and then like all these other shows are at the top because this is drowning. It's so bad. It's terrible. It's the worst.
I'm gonna have to take your word for that meme analogy because I don't understand what the meme is even supposed to mean.
Am I gonna have to look it up?
No, it's fine. But yeah, the show, we would think I think there's only 7 episodes. We're just now finished episode 4. Oh, I just rubbed something in my eye.
I thought it was only 6 episodes.
No, there's 7 episodes total.
Oh, thank God.
So we just did the 4th episode. So we should be like, knee deep in the plot at this point. Not exaggerating when I say that the 4th episode ends by getting us literally to the post-credit scene from The Mandalorian season 2 when they introduced the show. Like it literally, with 6 or 7 minutes left in the episode, it just now got to the part where he takes over Boba's throne, which is what he did. Jabba's throne, yeah. What he did in the very first episode and he did in the previous. It's like...
I don't know what their goal is here. What is the plot? Is it just the Pike thing?
We don't know yet. Not really.
Like, all I know is that, like, we talked to some twins. They're gone. We talked to that, like, the Wookiee. He's gone also. All of his friends
the Wookiee's back now, remember? Yeah, this episode, the Wookiee does come back. They do actually show Wookiee rip somebody's arms off because they always are talking about it.
That's cool.
Yeah, so they show that. And then, Black Chrysanthemum.
His name isn't Black Chrysanthemum.
I know, but
do you know what chrysanthemum is?
Yes, I do.
It's a flower.
I know what a chrysanthemum is.
That you give high school women.
I know what a chrysanthemum is.
When you're in high school.
I never gave anybody a chrysanthemum in high school.
Me neither.
Either way, so yeah, you have like a couple of things that happen in the last 8 minutes that are mildly interesting, but the entire 4th episode is a flashback again. At least it's well directed because Robert Rodriguez is nowhere near the set, which is amazing. But just answering questions, like if people thought that the prequel movies, George Lucas's prequel movies, were answering questions that nobody really cared about, this movie is answering questions that nobody could even have fathomed somebody trying to answer. I'm not kidding. Like they're showing how Boba Fett met Fennec Shand. My mind says, well, we already know how he met her. We saw him walk up to her when she got shot. That's how they met. He obviously saved her life, and then they became partners.
Yep.
This show thinks that we need to see 45 minutes of exactly how that happened. So Fennec Shand, she got shot. He picks her up. How did he save her life?
Who knows? That's what I've been begging to know.
You know how?
How?
He takes her to the doctor.
What?
That's
the
what
space doctors?
He takes her to the space doctor.
I love the space doctors. They're my favorite people.
They tried to make it cooler by making them like body modification people, and they give her metal guts or whatever. But either way, it's not that cool. At the end of the day, how he saved her was he took her to the doctor.
Do those metal guts shoot lasers?
Nope, they don't.
Then I do not care about the metal guts.
I don't care about any of it. Then, in a bizarre twist, Boba Fett decides to go back to the Sarlacc pit. Now, could have been cool. It would have been pandering, but it could have been cool if Boba Fett was wanting revenge on the Sarlacc. It had been, you know what I mean? He got all messed up from the Sarlacc. He wanted to get revenge, and he goes back to shoot it in the head. That could have been
in the head.
It could have been fun. Yeah, in his little Sarlacc head. Yeah, he has a head.
He has a head?
Yes, it comes out. It's like a little beak thing they added into the special edition into the movies.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyway, he goes there, but he doesn't go there to get revenge, because this new Boba Fett, he's nice, he's kind, he's forgiving, boring, all the things you want from a bounty hunter.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes to the Sarlacc not for revenge, but instead because Boba Fett forgot where he put his clothes.
So stupid. So dumb.
This is beyond explaining things that people didn't need explained because they have brain cells. This is somebody in the movie not knowing things that we already saw that they showed us. So they're just like, well, what if he doesn't know that? Like, we already know where Boba Fett's armor is. We already watched how he loses his armor, right?
Yep.
We know who it traded hands to, and we know how he gets his armor back. So having Boba Fett go to the Sarlacc pit because he thinks his armor is in there is the dumbest, most convoluted way of getting him back to the Sarlacc that I could possibly imagine.
Yeah, and it doesn't make any sense. Why would he... How would his clothes have ended up back there? Would the Jawas have thrown it back in there?
I guess they're trying to imply that after he fought his way out, he passed out, then the Jawas stole his armor. So he forgot that he got out with his armor on, and since he didn't have it on, he just assumed that he left it down in the Sarlacc pit.
We watched him flamethrower it out of it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. We're just having to now assume something even dumber, which is that he got amnesia.
So bad. Bad.
Especially because whenever the Jawas are taking his armor off, he's not all the way unconscious.
Yeah, we saw him open his eyes and be like, oh,
yeah, he just like out of energy.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, he flamethrowed his way out. Unless he has no memory of what he did to get out, it just doesn't make any sense why he would think his armor is still in there. But yeah, like I said, it's mind-bogglingly inept storytelling because we already know the truth, but it's like they want the character to do something. It's kind of like they're just trying to like almost retcon their own story, right?
Yeah. Like
they already showed it and they're like, well, we need him to go back in there to get his armor, but it's not there. We'll just make him just think that it is. Just I can't express how annoying that was. But anyway, yeah, just flash forward through them explaining every single thing we didn't need to see, how Boba Fett rescues Fennec Shand, how he gets her to the doctor, how he gets his spaceship back, blah, 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 blah. All these boring things that we didn't care about. Finally getting us to the end, which is literally just he asks all the other mob bosses just to not side with the Pikes. That's it. He doesn't get them to side with him. He doesn't have any clever speech or anything. He just says, hey, can you guys just not side with him? And they're like, sure, we'll just be neutral. What a boring... And that's the only other scene in the present. Anyway, who knows? Apparently the Mandalorian music played. The cue played whenever he said he was going to call in some muscle. So everyone's like, oh...
That's cool.
Mando's going to be the muscle. They're going to bring in the Mandalorians.
Was it like...
Yep. It was that. But yeah, that's kind of... I mean, the deep cut that you're going to bring back after you've ended the last show by bringing back Luke Skywalker, your big deep cut that you're going to do is just bring back a character from your other show. Just kind of lame.
Disappointing.
This whole this whole show has been really kind of a train wreck.
I'm kind of sad. It's really saddening.
Yeah, I mean,
because they were going hard, they were going strong.
Yeah,
they were sprinting through great shows, all beautiful. They did their 2 seasons of Mando, and then they brought back the last season of Clone Wars, and it was all beautiful. It was all wonderful. And then they did this to us, attacking all their loyal fans.
Look, if they can pull out at least a couple of good episodes at the end once they actually get into the plot, because my guess is they only had about 3 episodes worth of content that they needed to stretch out to 7 episodes, then at least we'll have like a little mini series that we can watch every once in a while. We'll just skip all the other episodes.
Yeah.
But yeah, as it stands, deeply, deeply disappointing. But at least this last episode, if this last episode would have been the pilot, it would have been really good. It's well executed. But coming as the 4th episode, it's just unforgivable lack of movement and a plot that already has not moved. It's been it's like a bantha.
Yeah, except for the bantha also rolled backwards several times and then started walking back forwards again.
Well, I think I'm gonna just move us forcibly to the next topic because it makes me sad and sleepy talking about this show.
Yeah, and I had a coffee and I'm tired.
After talking about the show?
Yes.
Well, you're going to be really bored during this conversation because I'm going to talk about the Tinder Bar.
Okay.
So, like I said, Solomon didn't watch this movie. Lucky him. I put it on a recommendation of some really good friends of mine who I normally trust their they know what kind of things that I would like. So even if it didn't get very good reviews, they have a pretty good idea if I'm going to like it or not, right?
Hey, they're also our family, Dad.
Yes.
So
family and friends.
They're family and our friends. I feel like we should let them know.
I think that by saying they're our family, it takes credit away from us trusting their opinion. Like it would be if I were like, my mom told me to watch it. So you should have just left it there.
Yeah.
Family you can't choose and friends you can. See the whole thing.
Yeah, but like
we're good. See how you ruined it now. Now their credibility is shot.
Well, I'm
going to say that somebody else told me about the movie.
Okay, whatever. I don't know. All right, sure.
Anyway, I was at the circus and these 3 clowns came up to me and they told me to watch this movie called The Tinder Bar.
Okay. That's really mean because you just called them clowns.
Well, that's what you forced me to do. So The Tinder Bar is a coming-of-age story starring Ben Affleck and Ty Sheridan, along with Doc from Back to the Future. He's in it, farting it up. And note, that is not, some kind of allegory. The opening scene of him is just him farting for about 5 straight minutes.
Oh, wait, are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna be so fun for me because I get to listen to you talk and then I can react on the podcast.
Well, let me tell you, I am a sucker for coming-of-age movies. Solomon knows this. Everybody who's known me for a minute knows it. I like coming-of-age movies. I like coming-of-age books.
I also love these things.
Maybe it's because I'm hoping that one day I will come of age and finally reach mature adulthood, and it just keeps not happening. Who knows? But either way, I love them.
Mm-hmm.
So Tinder Bar came out, didn't get very good reviews. Not shocking to me. George Clooney is not a particularly strong director, but normally his movies are just kind of boring. They're not, horrendously inept.
Mm-hmm.
There's always all the elements are assembled to make a good movie, or let's say they're not assembled to make a good movie. All the ingredients are there in the kitchen, but once they're assembled, the movie just somehow is not good. He did a movie called Leatherheads with John Krasinski. That should have been
John Krasinski.
It should have been really great. It just kind of fell flat. He did a movie called The Monuments Men about a secret task force that was going in to steal the artwork that the Nazis stole from the Jews and steal it back.
Okay.
Should have been really great. Boring. Lame. And that movie had an all-star cast.
Yeah, it seems like he's got the Wagyu meat for his delicious sandwich, and he's not making delicious sandwich.
And instead he makes chicken salad with it.
I see. Chicken salad with the Wagyu?
Exactly.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Okay.
So, yeah. This movie, every directorial decision that George Clooney makes is bad, is wrong.
Oh, okay.
So it starts off with this horrendously cloying voiceover that irritated me so instantaneously and so deeply that really the movie never could recover from it. So every time I could even slightly start to get into the movie, here comes this awful voiceover. And it's the worst kind of voiceover. It's one from the point of view of the kid when he's an adult, but with no perspective or wraparound reason for it to exist, except for to tell us what everybody's feeling or how people feel about a certain place, but in the least insightful way possible. And with the most aggressively purple, flowery language that ends up being just hellishly banal. So I'll give you an example. Movie opens.
Mm-hmm.
It's also, the movie is pretty well shot. Like, as far as the cinematography, it looks great. So, and this is a serious movie. Remember the 5 minutes of farting? This is in a movie that they want to take you to take very seriously. That deals with alcoholism, abandonment issues, class, race, privilege, education. Yeah, it wants to kind of like talk about all these things. So it is a serious movie. It opens with a shot of a house in the suburbs of, I think, New Jersey, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it's New Jersey. And the kid and his mom are unpacking, and he's like, "Once again, we were back at Grandpa's house. I always liked my grandpa's house. It smelled like pasta and love." Wanted to kill myself immediately. I instantly wanted to blow my brains out as soon as it started. And I'm a sentimental guy. I'm a sap for this kind of stuff. And this was just so awful. And then we go in and we meet the grandpa, Farty Magoo. He just keeps farting and then saying, "It wasn't me." Like, honestly, they should have started playing the Shaggy song.
That would have been awesome.
And but it wasn't funny at all. He just keeps doing it, and it keeps going on and on and on. And that's your introduction to the character, and it's like kind of serious movie.
Off to a good start.
And then Ben Affleck, he's actually really good, even though he's basically doing his Good Will Hunting thing, just like as an older guy. He plays an uncle who's kind of a genius, who reads all these books, but he's a bartender and a common guy, never got to go to college, never got to leave the house, et cetera, et cetera. And he teaches the young it's not Tyler Sheridan at this point, but either way, he teaches the kid what he calls like the male sciences. So fortunately, the male sciences in this aren't like what they actually would have been in the 70s. You know what I mean? Like, sexist.
Okay.
They're all nice, like, you never hit a woman and you always do this. And they have all these silly little things that he has that are supposed to be kind of like cute and clever. Well, it'd be like, "Look at my wallet. This is called the munchie pocket. You always want to keep your munchies in there. Munchies are $100 bills, Keep your munchies in there and your spindies on the outside. When you go out the dame, you always want to have your spindies and your munchies." And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Okay. What?
Sorry.
I'm so confused.
I didn't mean to blaspheme. But it was so irritating. It was just supposed to be like so clever and cute. Like, he always had these little names for everything. You know what I mean? He's like in the car and he's showing him how to drive. And he's like, "And this is the glove box, but you never keep gloves in there. You always keep a couple paper towels in case a lady needs to wipe her lipstick. I call them the powderies. You keep the powderies in the glovey." I'm just like, oh, I can't handle it. So anyway, the whole movie goes on. It's all mawkish and sentimental. And the voiceover keeps going. And they make one of the weirdest, especially for 22, especially considering this is George Clooney, most bizarre choices that I can imagine, where they have, and also this, just so you know, the story is incredibly directionless and pointless in case you can't tell. It's just basically about a kid who grows up and kind of goes to college, but they don't show us any of the interesting parts of that.
Sounds like a good time.
But they have his girlfriend is a very attractive black woman who keeps breaking up with him because she's actually cheating on her fiance with him every time. And then she breaks up with him. She takes him home for Christmas and breaks up with him on Christmas.
That's
because
rude.
And every single time she's like, "I'm still seeing this guy. I'm still seeing this guy." She keeps doing it all the way till they're married. So she's kind of a douchebag.
Yeah.
And then when he takes her home for Christmas, then you have her family who are wealthy. I think the dad was white and the mom was black. And they have those people being incredibly rude, condescending, kind of racist towards the white guy. And I was like, what was George Clooney thinking? This movie is set in the 70s, and you're going to make the bad guys of the movie, if there are any besides the alcoholic abusive dad, that are privileged and wealthy you're going to make it be the only other black people in the entire movie. They're the bad guys. And not just that they're the bad guys. They're the bad guys because they're snobby and wealthy and look down on poor white people. Whew, that is a swing and a miss there, George. That was just the most, like, I'm not trying to say that movies need to make sure they're covering every single politically correct base, but this was just a misstep at a level that I could not understand. It wasn't, they didn't address anything with it. Sorry, were you going to say something?
I'm just shocked at how badly you can make a decision.
Like, it'd have been one thing if they were trying to have a conversation around that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they weren't. They didn't do anything with it. It was just like not thought through. It was imbecilic.
I agree. That sounds idiotic.
Anyway, the movie, the voiceover kind of stops. He goes and confronts his alcoholic dad. That's a decent scene, but it's really played weird. Anyway, I don't want to talk about it too much. I know you haven't seen it, but I just had to get to the end because every time I think of the end of this movie, it makes me irate.
Okay.
It makes me cringe in half. My eyeballs start doing backflips. It just was so dumb. So the end of the movie, you're getting a good performance from Ben Affleck. Him and Sheridan have like really good chemistry. The voiceover hasn't reared its ugly head in, at least 30 minutes. So I'm finally starting to get into the end of the movie. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to be able to walk out of here giving this movie at least like a C. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Performance is good. I'm feeling good when it's over. And this uncle gives him his car and he's like, hey, this is for you. You always need, you deserve it. You need wheels. You always got to have wheels if you want to get a lady. So he gives him his car. He's all excited. All the bar patrons come out, see him get in the car. They're like, hey, it's a man car. You man enough to handle that car? And he's like, yeah. Anyway, it's a sweet scene, right? Because they all watched him grow up, and he's going to Yale. Now he works at the New York Times, and now he has his uncle's car. And then he gets in the car. He's driving down the highway. Sheridan's, again, good performance. Everything's in his eyes, his joy. He's looking forward to the future. You can kind of see it. Feeling good.
Just good.
And then that voiceover has to come explain everything we saw, but in the dumbest way possible. So it's like, and that's the day my uncle gave me my first car. There I was driving down the highway. I had my munchies in my munchie pocket of my wallet, and I had my spindies in the spindy pocket, paper towels in the blotty blot and the bloopity boos. And I was looking forward to my future. Didn't know where I was going to go, but I knew I was on the right path. And then I actually blew my brains out.
Oh, how are you here today?
Zombie.
I see.
I'm here as a zombie. So
nice.
yeah, after that was the bullet in the nail in the coffin for that movie. Was that last bit of voiceover? Oh, and also the movie. I did not understand the name of the movie. Did not understand it. And someone's like, "Yeah, it's just a dumb pun." And I was like, "I don't even understand what the pun would be."
It's not a pun. It's nothing. It doesn't make any sense. And
it's that Ben Affleck is a bartender.
Yep.
So Tinder bar.
That's not a joke.
I know. And the kid never says that. It's not like he's dyslexic and reads bartender one day and says Tinder bar.
Yeah.
They never say the word Tinder bar ever in the movie.
Yeah, that's just like, no, there's nothing they could compare to. Like if I called a doctor like the tour doc.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's not two words, but sure.
It's bartender's one word though, right?
Yeah.
So
technically, but they could be two words. Either way, you're right. It's dumb. It's not really a joke. It's not really a pun.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
I honestly just needed to exercise that movie into the microphone and out of me. And into the audience. They need to be able to, it's like a Horcrux now, the audience is, bearing the different parts of my soul that movie obliterated.
Okay, all right. I'm glad you got to release that then. Can we talk about the movie now?
Yes. Sorry. Let's talk about
Brick.
Yeah, Rian Johnson, I believe it's his debut feature film. It was...
Or Rain Johnson.
Rian Johnson. Oh, yeah. I told Solomon that for years and years, a decade...
A decade?
I probably was calling him Rain Johnson.
I think my dad is dyslexic.
It's just weird. You just don't normally see the AI combination that way. I'm trying to think of any other situation where you'd see the I before the A. So I think my brain just automatically switches them?
Brian.
Oh yeah, in a name, but I mean like in a word.
Yeah, but it's a name. So Brian,
Okay.
Ryan. Just take away the B. Do you call him Brain?
That's not how Ryan is normally spelled.
Doesn't matter. Brian can be spelled with a Y.
Anyway, moving on. Yeah, so this movie, I actually, whenever we were watching it, full disclosure, I wanted to watch some classic modern noir movies with Solomon. And I was going to start with one that I thought was really fun, really pulpy, and that was Red Rock West. A lot of people haven't seen it. I thought it'd be fun for the audience. Thought it'd be fun for us. You can't get that movie. I'm going to see if I can order it on Amazon. Hopefully there's someone, maybe some little studio, maybe Shout Factory or somebody has put it on Blu-ray.
Let it all out.
I'm just going to ignore you.
I'm singing a song, man.
Obviously. And so we couldn't watch that. So I was trying to think of another movie that'd be a good intro into noir, because it's better if you have some familiarity with it before you just kind of dive into, some of the more dense stuff like the Coen Brothers stuff. So, and especially before we go into like Lynch. Yeah, you're going to need
I agree.
Well, so why are you saying it like that?
I concur.
So look, whenever we were watching this movie, and I'm going to let you do the introduction, but the pre-introduction, the preamble, if you will, emphasis on the ramble part, is that, like, how dense the dialogue was in this, right? And it's purposefully very stylized.
Yeah.
But it made it like you gotta be really tracking, right? Because they're just bouncing stuff off, and every single thing. And this movie's kind of an extreme example, but like every single thing was like a metaphor, a simile, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're having to like figure out what it is they're trying to say while keeping up with the dialogue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh, it feels like I have rocks for brains, so I better hit the gravel yard. And you're like, what does that mean exactly? Does that mean going to sleep? And then by the time you figure that out, there's like 30 more people who've, said something.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's how we landed on Brick, right? It's newish. 2005 is not too old. So I didn't think Solomon would get bored. And it's set in a high school, but it is taking its plot incredibly seriously.
Does not feel like it's set in high school.
But it is, though.
I know. I'm just saying it doesn't feel like it.
I don't understand what you mean by that. Like,
I don't feel like I'm in a high school, Dad.
There's a cafeteria and a football field.
We never went to the cafeteria.
And a theater.
We went to the theater, but everything was very obviously just supposed to be what is it called? A private investigator.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like watching that, except for it was in school, but you couldn't really tell the difference.
It was like Encyclopedia Brown, but like rated R and taken really seriously.
It was exactly like Encyclopedia Brown. I love that book.
Except for Encyclopedia Brown actually didn't talk like a gumshoe properly.
Well, yeah, although that would have been really fun. I loved Encyclopedia Brown.
So did I.
You introduced me to it.
What's funny is I would read Encyclopedia Brown, and if I couldn't solve the mystery on my own, I would like sneak to the back and try and like just read a little bit, and then be like, "Oh yeah, it was Mo Turner. Mo Turner did it. I figured it out. I didn't cheat and look." You're like cheating on yourself.
I did the same thing. It's so funny because I remember doing that exact same thing. You're like, "Did you figure out who the murderer was?" I was like, "Oh yeah, the clown did it. He did it with the shoes. I don't know how."
Yeah.
I don't know how I figured it out.
Yeah, you always were a really bad liar about it because you never would read the explanation of how he did it. So you just say, "It just was obvious." It was just obvious that he did.
I know, but I needed to know that I won.
Oh, again, you just beat yourself by cheating against yourself in your own brain.
Mm-hmm.
So now that the preamble's over, do you want to just kind of give us a quick overview of this movie? Kind of, you don't have to really give a plot synopsis. It's a noir, so it's going to be pretty, twisty and turny. So you can just give us a general synopsis of the plot. And, maybe your thoughts on the tone. Like, how would you describe the tone of this movie? Just give us a general sense of where you're at going into this experiment.
Experiment. Okay. Okay. General synopsis. Mm-hmm. I don't like it when you just throw me out into the water when I can't swim.
You can swim. You've done like 20 synopses so far.
Yeah, but those are different. Those are different ones. Those are the ones where I'm not good at them. This one.
You go ahead and do your synopsis. I'm gonna play some Candy Crush while I wait for you to get it out.
Candy Crush. Do you even have Candy Crush?
Come on.
Okay, all right. Oh, I'm sorry. You're very distracting. Okay, so basically, this guy likes a girl. The girl is found dead, and then we're trying to figure out why.
Pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think the guy liked a girl. It's his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he still likes her.
Yeah. The only thing I would have amended is if I was going to describe the movie, it would be like, it's about this guy. He gets this frantic call from his ex-girlfriend. 2 days later, she's dead. He's trying to figure it out.
Yeah, but that's not how we're introduced to the movie.
Yeah, I understand that, but the way you start when you start telling a movie, you don't have to start at the very beginning. Whenever, if you're saying
You're right. I understand.
you got it.
Also, I noticed because whenever they do the 2 days previous thing, they say 2 days previous.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I like fixated on it. I wondered why they didn't say 2 days prior.
I don't know. Stylistic choice.
Maybe
It was.
did it fit across the screen better?
I don't know.
Like, I just like the way 2 days prior sounds.
Or 2 days before.
Yeah, but I think prior sounds like more cool and
Maybe it's because they brought the title up while they were still in the scene where she was dead. So then it was saying 2 days previous, like we're moving somewhere. I don't think they put it after it cut to being, because if it was
what?
Look.
Well, I just want to know why they used previous instead of prior.
Because they're moving. The scene is moving backwards then. And if you put 2 days prior, 2 days before, or whatever, I think it implies that that's where you were at right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think that might be why.
But that's
anyway,
not usually what
let's not fixate on the first, opening whatever thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Subtitle.
Yeah. Whatever. All right. What next question, Dad?
This is not an interview show.
It feels like an interview. Let's go. What's next?
I just wanted you to. I wanted to get an idea of like how you went into this movie. Like, what did you know about like film noir? What did you know the tone of this movie?
Here's what I know about film noir. All right, ready? Spider Noir from Into the Spider-Verse.
Really?
That's all I expected was going to happen, and I was really excited because I love him. He's like my favorite Spider-Man in that Into the Spider-Verse.
You really thought that was going to happen? You thought there was going to be Spider-Man in this?
I thought it was going to be black and white. He was going to have a fedora on, and he was going to be like, I walked down the streets of the back alley.
Well,
It was a cold, rainy night.
I wanted to take you to see Casablanca, and that would have been like that. Do you want to go do that?
No, you said that's old.
Oh my! You said you thought it was going to be black and white.
Yeah, but I thought it would have been like stylistically black and white, not by choice.
I think you would like Casablanca. It's really, really well paced. It's showing right now at Cinemark.
And it's in black and white.
Yes.
And it's
quick, brisk 90 minutes.
Is it good?
It's one of my. I watched that movie when I was like 12, and I thought I was going to be so bored out of my skull, and I just loved it. I've seen it like 10 times.
Okay. And you were 12?
No, since I was 12. I watched it a bunch of times when I was 12.
But whenever you were 12, you watched it?
Multiple times.
That's awesome. Okay, then I can watch that. So yeah, I thought it was going to be exactly like Spider Noir. That's literally my only idea of what noir was. So I kind of got that, except for it wasn't in black and white and he didn't have a fedora on. But he was still like a detective trying to figure stuff out.
He was a gumshoe with like with the actual tattered shoes that were, kind of falling apart.
Yeah. I agree. This is true.
So the tone was there.
Yeah. I got my Spider Noir.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny though? I felt like it was funny. I feel like it's funny that that's what my Spider Noir knowledge is.
I just feel like you have to have seen something else that was more kind of noir.
I mean, I saw that.
I mean, Batman kind of is.
Well, sure.
I mean, I hate to keep naming superhero movies. It makes it seem like you're film illiterate.
What's that? That show with Robin in it?
No.
Is that considered noir?
It's kind of leaning that way, but I wouldn't put that. No.
Can you tell me what it's called?
It's the name of the bar or the name of the town.
Isn't it called? It's called like Stamp Creek or something.
Yeah, Stumptown.
Stumptown. Look at that! Look at that teamwork we did. All right. Stamp Creek.
Yeah, there has to be. I know. There's something else that you've seen. It's like an actual noir.
Or there's not, and we can just accept that.
Okay, it's fine. Encyclopedia Brown and Spider-Man are as close as you ever got.
Yep.
Yeah. So, did you find the movie too dense? Was it difficult for you to get into it?
I mean, I think I was following. I feel like my brain was kind of like running all around while I was watching the movie, but that's just because I have a weird brain, and I just kept thinking about when my milk was going to expire because I just had some cereal.
That's just not paying attention. That has nothing to do with the movie.
No, I know. I'm just saying. Other than that, I think I was able to keep up pretty well. There were some things I had to ask, like, what did he say, or like, what does that mean? What is?
It's really funny. Every time I do like
two double sticks with the bow and arrow in my face or whatever. I don't know.
What?
I don't know what I'm saying.
Every time I try and do like a version of like example of what the dialogue is like, you always look at me like I'm an idiot, and then you just try to do it and you sound like a buffoon.
Hi, that was rude.
Well, it's rude that you're being so condescending to me when I'm giving actual examples that sound like something people would say in film noir.
Dad,
and then you're like,
earlier you said what did you say?
I don't know.
You would know.
I said a lot of things earlier, like in the podcast.
No, not in the podcast. While we were at the house.
Oh yes, I remember everything that I said while we were at the house.
Okay, Dad, you said like the deaf line with the double bing bang in the you read the book to you. That's what you said.
I did not say that.
That's exactly what you said, and it was terrible, and I was really annoyed.
I said that you got an audio book, and then bing bang smackety smack, you got it memorized. That makes sense.
No, it doesn't. What's a bing bang smackety
I was just
smack?
making a new joke about the dialogue in the movie.
Okay, but that was what the dialogue was. It was really quick and fun, and
yeah, and it was dense.
It was dense. So I was like leaned up forward so I could make sure I was catching up with everything. So that's good. That was smart because it kept me on my toes. You know, kept me up and running.
Did you think the how'd you like the plot? Do you think it was like were they able to like actually make a twisty plot because they have like gangs, but the gangs are like the theater kids and then the whatever kids.
Yeah, it's really cool. I enjoyed the gangs because it was weird. I like, and I keep saying this, but I kept forgetting that I was in high school. But it was really funny because they were like, the vice principal would call him in, and he'd be like, "All right, man, I'm gonna need someone to send to the police if you can't figure out what's going on here. I know you're clean, I know you're up, but we gotta figure something out. You're gonna be my backup if I can't find anyone."
Yeah, like I said, he was supposed to be kind of like whenever the private eye gets called into the district attorney's office or the police chief's office. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's like, "Listen here, bub, someone's going up river. If you don't help me, I can't help you."
Yeah.
Except for it's the vice principal.
Yeah, it was really weird.
It was really funny how he'd work little high school terms into this very serious dialogue, right?
Yeah.
Because he'd be like, "Don't be checking up on me in homeroom. If you go to homeroom and you start dragging my stuff around everywhere, I'm gonna get narked. Got it?" The vice principal's like, "Fine, I won't go into your homeroom and ask any questions, but you better be eating lunch in the normal spot." It was like very clever. I thought how they worked that stuff in there.
It's really smart, and everything. It felt so normal to have this super serious like PI guy who's just a sophomore or freshman in high school.
Right.
He's like really smart, and everything is just in high school, but nothing like high school. I mean, I'm not going out solving murders.
Right. Well, the other thing that I think is kind of interesting in hindsight is that he isn't a detective, though. He's not Encyclopedia Brown. You know what I mean?
Yeah. His dad's not the police chief.
Yeah, like there's no reason why he's particularly good at this. It's just like basically making a high school story into a noir for the sake of it. You know what I mean?
That's all it is.
Yeah. And I really like that.
Mm-hmm. And there's no real big cast. Isn't there only like one famous person or one person that you knew?
Well, it's a normal size cast, but there's not. Most of the actors are unknown. So it's directed by Ryan Johnson. The only name that I recognize, besides Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who's the lead, it was Lucas Haas, and that's it. Like I didn't recognize any of these other people's names.
Yeah, it and honestly, really great performances from these people that we have no idea who they are.
Yeah, I agree. I think that whenever we watched this, I actually thought that I hadn't seen this movie. I was actually thinking of Ryan Johnson's second movie, which I haven't seen. But when we were watching this, I was like, oh, this is really familiar. So this movie came out right whenever I was it was either graduating from film school. It was the year after I graduated. I can't remember.
It was 2 years before I was born.
Yes, 2 years before you were born. So when I first watched the movie, I think I turned it off probably a quarter of the way through because it was not what I thought. Because all the reviews were saying like, "Oh, it's hilarious, quirky, and I was expecting like a rated R Encyclopedia Brown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're using funny noir dialogue, but it's a comedy. It's like Mean Girls or whatever. And this movie is just not like that.
No, not at all. It takes itself very seriously, and it's done very well. It's not like it doesn't seem like it's being over the top or being too serious about itself.
No, it just works.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. They're just really good directors, I guess.
I think
Or director.
I normally am not the person who says this because it annoys the crap out of me when people say it to me. But when someone says, "Oh, this comedy, it's so great, it's hilarious," but like not like laugh out loud funny, not like ha ha funny, just kind of like where in your mind you're like, it's really funny. I'm like, so you mean it's not a comedy? Get out of here, you douchebag.
Okay. I feel like for me though that makes sense though, because I only laugh at my friends now.
What's the last comedy you watched?
Who knows?
I don't know. I feel like I see you laughing all the time.
Maybe I laugh at stand up.
Yeah, that stand up, the hilarious stand up that I'm doing, for performing for you 24 hours a day for free.
I'm just saying, like, movies don't make me laugh too often unless it's really funny.
I can't think of the last comedy, but I don't think that's exactly true. I'm thinking whenever last time we watched a couple comedy movies, I feel like you laugh really hard.
That was when I was 12.
No.
Haven't watched a comedy in 3 years.
Either way, all I have to say that this movie is the kind of movie that I would have to say I wouldn't call it a comedy, first of all.
It's not.
So
it's not.
They shouldn't say that. But I will say that I do find it very funny just because the juxtaposing the high school setting with this really dark noir. And it's also not like just like a surface coating. Like dangerous things are happening.
Yeah.
People are getting shot in the face. People are getting stabbed.
There are
People
guns.
are
There
getting
are cops.
beat up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
Yeah, so it's not just like a noir sheen over top of the movie.
We have drugs, we have violence, we have murder, death. It's awesome.
And the most powerful weapon of all, love.
We knew.
Yeah, we were in sync.
Yep.
So when it comes to like the way the movie was shot, this movie was a indie movie, so it's done on a budget. Back before indie movies, people were still shooting on film, right?
Yeah.
So you're really limited with what you can do. How did you think the cinematography held up? Or?
I forgot to mention it, but like towards the beginning, because I kept trying to like take a step back, like out of the movie, so I could actually like take some mental notes of what I thought was really interesting about the movie, so I could actually be prepared for the podcast,
right?
Instead of having to think about it afterwards. So I kept kind of getting distracted because towards the beginning of the movie, there was this great shot that I really liked, and it was the shot of the cigarette on the road.
Mm-hmm.
It was just really well like composed, and I just really liked the way it looked. I know that's just a random thing. I just thought it looked really good and it looked really cool.
Yeah, no, I think and it's also it's shot in a way where it's basically saying this is a clue.
Yeah.
And it's a good way to start the movie, like start off in the movie, because it's telling the audience, hey, be looking out for this. You know what I mean? There are going to be clues, and I'm going to be showing you them.
And there was they did some cool shots where it felt like suspenseful. You know, like they kept like cutting away and like zooming in on like a payphone with like behind some like leaves or something, or like a house behind some leaves. For some reason there was a lot of leaves.
Apparently, I didn't notice all the leaves.
And also there was like this core spot. It was like the big, what is it, sewer pipe?
Yeah, I don't know, some kind of drainage.
Yeah.
Culvert.
I feel like it was every time you went there, it was shot the exact way. Like it was the centerpiece of the whole shot. And I thought that was cool. It was like it was very obvious that was like a core setting that you were going to be visiting a lot.
Yeah, I think for me, I think it's incredibly well shot, and I think that while you can see its budgetary limitations, especially in some of the interior settings, they're not very well decorated. They're really, kind of Spartan.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the budget kind of creeping in. But for the most part, like the set that's like the Kingpin, his lair, if you will.
Yeah, which is his
First of all,
mom's
it's funny
basement.
because his mom's basement. Yeah. But again, there's hardly any set decorations. But I think in that set they were able to use proper framing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like he was a sinner and he had like 2 lamps.
Yeah, and just 2 like sconces.
Yeah.
And kind of a ratty desk. It really worked. And some of the other parts though, when they show in the house, the lack of set decorations or at a school, you know what I mean? Again, with the theater, he was able, like in the very opening shot, remember when he's talking to her?
Yeah.
And they're in that theater room. They were able to use lighting to create some dynamism in the shot. So remember, all the people were in the background, kind of like just moving lights and stuff, but they were just silhouettes.
Yeah.
And everything else was dark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I bet the rest of that theater wasn't decorated, and they didn't have any extras.
But they had like the stage lit.
Yes,
and
so they
all
had like
the people there.
Right, so he's able to use his skills as a director.
Yeah, he's very smart.
Yeah, I think it was really clever. So there's a couple times when he can't really fudge it very well. Like I think the principal's office is a really good example. It didn't feel dressed. The set didn't feel dressed enough, so it felt very set-y to me.
Yeah. But I mean, he worked with this budget very well.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird to say because it's a great movie as it is. I would really like to see, again, this is something else that I almost never say. I'd really love to see Rian Johnson take another stab at this. Directors sometimes do this. Like Evil Dead 2 is basically just Evil Dead 1 again with a better budget. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would actually really like to see Rian Johnson with his clout that he has now, the budget that he has now, do this exact same movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And throw in maybe some stronger actors in some of those side roles. What was the kid's name who was like the big bullyish guy in this movie?
Who, Tug?
Tug. The kid that played him, like, God bless him, but he just looked silly.
Yeah, he looked so funny. I'm not even joking. He looked like my cousin, but tall.
How old is your cousin?
He is 5.
You should have not buried the lead there.
I forgot that no one knows who my cousin is.
Yeah.
Do you know which cousin I'm talking about?
No.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
I'm not gonna
He looks like a 5-year-old.
Yeah, because he literally is like bent over with his arms like straight jutted out, and he looks so funny. And he walks across the parking lot trying to look all macho, but the parking lot is so long.
Yeah.
So we just keep cutting towards him while he's like walking all mad all the way back to his car.
Yeah, and the joke is there, but I think that Ryan could sell it better now, being able to do some more cuts. You know what I mean? Because I think that's part of the joke is that he always like tensed up and he looks ridiculous and all roided out.
Yeah. Oh, he was so silly. That actually was making me laugh out loud.
Yeah, it was making me laugh too.
He looked so silly.
Yeah, and
so silly.
The thing is, it's so great about that as a character more than the actor's performance. Is that like he goes from like being really like this buffoonish guy who just, you know what I mean, is full of rage and going around punching people in the face, until he starts shooting people in the head, and then he's scary.
Yeah, he's not.
It
seems like he's like going crazy, man.
Yeah,
like at first he's just punching people, and then he just like it's like his first instinct, just like punch them, knock them out, and then like whip out a gun and go bang, 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 and murder everyone in the room. It's really scary.
Well, look, we're about at time, so. I'll just say it was great for me. It was really great to go back and revisit this movie to actually finish it. I didn't feel like I understood it or got it whenever I first watched it, and now I feel really silly because it's pretty. You know what I mean? I should have known what I was getting myself into. Really great to see Joseph Gordon-Levitt like at the very beginning of his career, knowing what stuff he's going to go on to do. But yeah, I think that this should be something that we continue. You know, we're kind of in a movie drought right now, and I'd love to keep watching some of this stuff and move through some, move into some Coen brothers, we'll start off modern, so I'm not pushing you too hard.
Yeah.
And, move into some Coen brothers, move into some Lynch. And, eventually we can actually go back to like the, Sam Harlow and the kind of original film noirs.
Yeah, I agree with all the things. I know all the terms you're using also.
Not really terms. There's people's names.
I don't know them.
Casablanca, though, I don't think necessarily would qualify as film noir. It's not really a huge mystery there. It's more like a love story but they do all wear fedoras and smoke cigarettes.
I do like fedoras and smoking cigarettes. I mean, I don't like smoking cigarettes.
So anyway, I know this movie's been out for a while. I like for these going through these things to be more like discussions than movie reviews.
But
what were your final overall thoughts?
Honestly, I really want to give it like a 10.
Okay.
Out of 10. But like there were just some issues like you're talking about, but for like I mean, it was 2005 and he was not like a huge director. That was his debut movie, right?
I believe so, yes.
So like considering what he was working with and how I wish whatever. Considering what he was working with and how well and like greatly executed it is, I feel like it deserves a 10. Because I mean, I'm sure if he redid it now, like you said, it would be excellent. It would be a 10. So I feel like I'm going to give it a 10 because I don't feel like he's going to go back and do it again.
Well, I wouldn't. I'm not going to give it a rating. I would say that my
10 out of 10 bricks.
Good job.
Thank you.
Well, I'm really glad you liked it that much.
Yeah.
And hopefully you'll like as we move into these other things. I think that you're going to really like them as well. And you'll see that there's a lot more that the world of cinema has to offer than just Spider-Man movies and Fortnite themed.
Why?
Fortnite themed movies like Free Guy.
Dad, stop bringing up Fortnite in this discussion
Anyway,
about a great movie.
Take us out of here so you can go home and not play some Fortnite.
Follow us at Kid in the Pig on Instagram.
Well, we need to do it again with more enthusiasm. Nobody wants to follow us when you're being all depressed.
Follow us on Kid in the Pig on Instagram at Kid in the Pig on Instagram?
Yeah.
Follow us at Kid in the Pig on Instagram and
on roguemedianetwork.com. Until next time.
I won't be seeing you. Make sure you subscribe, follow us on Kid Stays in the Picture on Instagram, or follow us on roguemedianetwork.com.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.